As you can see from underneath the toilet area there, it's really starting to let go. So what we have to do here, this is kind of like a puzzle for us, but what we have to do is figure out how are we going to do it. Give us some room. I've taken the main door to the room off so that we can get in and out of the space rather easily. And one of the things I'm going to tell you right now, this is a bathroom, and our hinges, because of all the humidity in here, get a little bit rusty. So what we'll do when we put the door back in place is give these a shot with some WD-40 so that the door doesn't hang up for us. So I'll just put them in here for now. This way we know where they are. We know each pin is there. And what we're going to do first, and I'll talk you through this before we actually started, is I have to remove this quarter round baseboard here, this extra piece that's on the bottom, because the flooring's got to go underneath there and breathe. The next thing obviously is we have to remove the toilet. And toilet removal is not a big problem, but it's something we'll have to step through, and we can do that and lift it off the floor. And then again get the rest of the molding off that goes around here. Then we'll get into how do we measure the floor, how do we install it, and we'll start from there. What we're going to do next here is remove the baseboard. Now I did a little prep work ahead of time. This baseboard has been caulked in so many times that I had to take my razor knife and cut the quarter round away from the baseboard in the back, and then I also had to run it along the bottom here to cut the caulking away from the bottom. Now hopefully what we're going to be able to do is to save the piece of quarter round that's here, and we have to, it's nailed in quite a few places, so what we have to do is to start loosening it and pulling it away from the other baseboard. And I just use a screwdriver and a hammer. And as you can see, we're starting to loosen it up from the wall. I'll just move down a little further. Now we heard the nails pop there. Did you hear that? Now if you look on the back there, see how rusty these nails are? Now what we're going to have to do then is get them out and treat the wall to make sure that there's no rust in the wall from there. So we'll go ahead now and just take the screwdriver as a prior. Oh, I need to loosen a little more of that there. There we are. Got a nail into that old flooring right there. Let me get that loose. There we go. Keep pulling. Now these nails down on this end are not as rusty, and that's probably because of the fact that it's not near the shower base. So to me that's a good sign that we're not going to have long-term problems here. Alright, now we've got to be careful to come towards the end here because we get impatient. And impatience, as we've talked about before, is not the real key to getting things solved. Now I'm going to have to cut, oh, no it won't. I'm going to have to pull this loose. Yes, I am going to have to cut a little bit of that linoleum away here. See, now let that go. Cut a little more away here. We've got the baseboard loose. As you can see, part of that was still glued when I did my cut. I didn't get it all the way through in the right way. But again, we can save that piece and work with it. Now what I'll do now is just remove the rest of the baseboard around the base of the counter behind the toilet. Now it's time to start getting the toilet out of place, or off the floor, so that we can put the floor laminate around it. And again, it's a pretty simple procedure. One, we have to turn the water off. And this is the main water valve that goes to the toilet. So we need to turn that off first. And then we just need to disconnect the water line, and that is right here. Now you see a few drippy drops come out, but that's not very bad. And we'll just let that go for right now when those drops come out. Okay, you see them? Okay. Now we have to evacuate the water from the toilet, which means empty it. First thing we do is flush. And you hold the lever down because you want as much water to go out as quickly as you can. Alright. Next thing we do is we remove the top of the tank. Put it down so it doesn't break somewhere. We'll put it here on the floor behind me. If you look down in there, you'll see a main problem for a toilet leak. You see how lousy looking this flapper is? It's almost falling apart on us. Look at this, okay? This has been an expensive water leak for these people. And I bought a new flapper and I bought new toilet parts so that we make sure that this toilet works well. This toilet was originally put in 1980, according to the cast mark on the bottom. And from the looks of this, I wonder whether the flapper has ever been changed. Well, we'll just leave this right here for now. Whoops, let me just put it up on top to get it out of the way. And we've got to get the rest of the water out of there. And the easiest thing to do is just take a small rag and wring it into the bottom of the toilet. And get the rag wet and get the water out of the bottom. Because we have to take the toilet apart. We want to get it as empty as we can all the way around. Because lifting it off the floor, we want to make sure that we can get moved around without a lot of water. The other thing I'm going to do now, you notice all that extra dirt, that's from the old slime in the tank. Take a look in there a minute. See the red gunk on top of that white rig? That's from the old flapper. And what we'll have to make sure, I don't know if the rag will do it or not, we have to make sure that all that comes off. Well, that was pretty successful by just doing it with a rag. So that's a good sign that we don't need to replace that center part of the fill, because the new flapper will sit well in there. Alright, that's enough water out of there.